Greetings. So, Nietzsche talks about, in the beginning of the preface, something. And I looked at the etymology of value or values, and it was considered the meaning of a social principle from 1918. Okay, so Nietzsche talks about in the preface, he says that to be a philosopher, you have to retire yourself to mountain peaks and ice. So what Nietzsche is really discussing is, in the preface of ECCE HOMO, his autobiography, is that of, I feel like I have fucking fallen somehow from somewhere. I was just out getting it, jiving. My knee hurts. I just feel like I've fallen, like my soul has fallen. You know? I'm like at a loss for words. So what do you do when you fall? Well, you have to get up, right? So now I'm slowly having to climb the mountain that I've created for myself, that I've created as a task for myself, that I have desire to do. So like I just had a crazy dopamine rush performing in front of a bunch of people, recording it, soaring high. And now I feel like I've fallen, like there's something that attacked me. And like I got rocks in my shoes. It's like, what do you do when you got rocks in your shoes? Well, it's like, why would you take them out? You're going to look foolish to take your foot off. Your shoe off, excuse me. And empty the rocks. Or you could just deal with the rocks. Wouldn't that harden your feet? I think what's necessary for any philosopher to be a good philosopher is a level of hardness. Is a level of toughness and roughness against what life spews, spills, sprays at oneself. But you have to be hard, but you have to have different gears. One of that being hard, or the overall one being hard, being strong. But we're not talking about cold, because you're already in a level of coldness. When you get, according to Nietzsche, when you get to mountain peaks and like I feel like someone just like fucking beat the shit out of my feet and my ankles. Like they feel so sore. Like all this noise and stuff, I feel like it's not attacking me, but it's there to provoke, right? But as you get older, it's easier for you to get sore and get hurt, and so you have to get even harder, you have to get even fitter, you have to get even stronger, you have to work out smarter and harder, right? So I think that that's like really what people are. I think that the majority of people are just fucking soft as a little bitch. You know? Because they live in this ideal world, this idolizing world. This is Nietzschean. And it's cowardice. Whereas instead, being hard, being a kind of philosopher or whatever the fuck you want to be, or whatever the fuck you actually are, takes a level of courage. You know? I don't think people know how to fucking mind their goddamn business either. You know? Like, everyone is so unspecial themselves, and they determine that because that's how they feel about themselves. You know? Like, I just came back from performing, replenished with some milk and shit, and yeah, like, and I just watched my videos that I took, and I wasn't happy with them. I was like, what am I going to do now? Like, I was going to publish them on all platforms. So, you got to get up. And then I just felt like shit. And I was like, bro, I got to get out and, like, do something productive. Like, it's the eternal recurrence thing, right? Like, it's not even a long-term decision. It's beyond long-term. It's eternally term. Eternal return is the eternally term. The eternal term. Right? So, that's what it is. That's what it fucking is. So you gotta fucking, like, you gotta, like, be like, yo, if this moment is gonna happen, or because this moment is gonna happen forever, what's the best move I can make on the chessboard? What's the best move I can make to the hoop? What's the best defense I can have? What's the best offense I can have? What kind of things am I going to do in this moment? Because it brings you right to the present. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because it matters so much. It matters incredibly. It matters infinitely. It matters immeasurably. It matters wholly and holy and holy. I can't extol that anymore. All right? So, like, build the life that you want to fucking live. Like, nothing against my father, but, like, he's just, like, hates his job. He's got another 3 years before retirement, and, like, he's just sticking it out, and he's doing a half-ass job at work, and it's just like, all right, well, why are you doing that? Like, what if you, like, have a stroke, like, God forbid, fingers crossed, knock on wood, like, in a year before you're even done working, you didn't even live life, and you're doing something that you hate, and it's hurting your health, and maybe you're eating poorly, and you're making bad decisions, and you're miserable, and you hate getting up. Like, I don't understand how people do that, how they just, like, waste the days away, right? Like, you have to own that, like, you have, like, kids, and, like you built a family, or you lost your family, or whatever, you know? It's like you're choosing to do that sort of stuff. I live a very, very unconventional alternative lifestyle, you know, on a, you know, relatively more modestly and minimalistically than most people. Like, very much so in a way. But like I live lavishly because I can just create all the fucking time. I can do podcasts, I can do music, I can write poems, I can write books, I can make music videos, I can go perform. You know, I can collaborate with other artists. You know, I can learn, I can read books. You know, I can listen to audiobooks, and like I can watch educational YouTube videos. I mentioned it on the last podcast, but this is most valuable to me because it's like, this is the legend that I'm leaving. Like, the imprint that I'm putting on the internet, like, my stuff's not going to go away. So, like, people who have heard of me are, like, my family. Like, my brother's having a kid, like, a girl. So, like, my niece will, like, pass what I left. Maybe she'll actually get it. Or she's going to be a Scorpio. So, like, she might actually understand some of the shit that I'm talking about. I mean, my brother and his wife are not very spiritually attuned at all, you know, so like I'm cool with them, like no problems, but it's just like they work like just regular jobs, and it's just like I don't fucking understand that, bro. Like, my brother's gonna go get his MBA, like, bro, just learn entrepreneurship. Like, you have money to invest in that sort of thing, and I know you don't have time. Why would you spend like fucking like a bunch of time and a bunch of money, thousands of dollars to learn business? Like, you don't learn business that way. Like, I know that. I'm part of an entrepreneurial collective, and I've been acting as an entrepreneur for a couple months now, like actively again. Right? So, yeah. But, like, back to the beginning of this whole conversation is, like, values, right? In 1918, there was a social principle. That's what it was considered. A value system is a social principle. And Nietzsche calls that an idol or an ideal. Idol and ideal. And it comes from a level of error, because when it's very, very dangerous that when anyone adopts and inherits value systems that aren't derived from themselves, from their own makeup, from their, say, Myers-Briggs, astrology, personality, past, future, present, brain structure, left brain, right brain, da-da-da-da. You know, what kind of colorings do they have? What kind of hues and tones are part of their energy, their operation, their coding, right? So like you would have like a lot of people you know, like everyone who drives a Nissan or everyone who drives a Tesla probably has similar value system. I would opt for the Tesla just because of what the company stands for. From what I know, I buy their stock and shit. But everyone that lives in a certain town, or everyone that goes to a certain restaurant, everyone who wears like Old Navy, you know, everyone who shops at Dick's Sporting Goods, you know, everyone who goes to a certain gym. Like, these are like my realities. It's like they probably have the same value system. So it's like, it's very dangerous when like friend groups are like, I understand for the cohesion of families and friend groups to have that, but I'm vouching for, you know, I think the truth of what things are, like, we just have it's just a level of groupthink. right? Like, it's a level of just like dulling down the individuality of people. Like, you can be fucking individualistic as fuck. Like, I could be like, yo, like, you know, I like fasting, and you just be like, I like to be a vegetarian. Like, those are two separate things, but you can still be in harmony with someone, be friends with someone like that, instead of just being like, oh yeah, like, bro, let's go to like Burger King or Wendy's. It's like, yeah, fuck it, we'll just go there. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I think there's a level too where like values being like morals and being principles. Like, I don't think a lot of people have like very like aristocratic, positive, wholesome, noble, clear values. You know, like, and especially like unique values. So what I'm saying is that, like, if we go back to the last podcast, and maybe even the last podcast a little bit, and to a degree, and the one before that about the Matrix. I believe that the reason this is the case is that people's coding is not their own coding. People's programming is not their own programming. People's thought patterns and DNA is been implanted, in a sense, through external forces, and it has to be by their consent. But that's why Nietzsche talks about it being back in and I'm taking the rocks finally out of my socks, so to speak. So it's a level of, actually a level of immorality, right? Because it's not, the coding is there, you know, it's happening, and it will happen through and through in society, in culture, in workplaces, in homes, right? And it's a level of immorality. So, like, what I would say, which is something that I would completely concede with, is our society is nihilistic, because their values aren't real values, and their values aren't their own. They're not derived from their own sense. They're not adapted from their own sense of self, their sense of self, their selves, their senses of their selves. You know, it's by like other shit, like it's not them, but they make it them. So it's like it's parasitic, and then when something's parasitic, that's why we see a lot of people that are highly unhealthy. You know, especially emotionally. You know, so yeah. What is man's religion? Physicality, materiality, materialism, consumerism. I only tolerate a clear sky. I only bring forth a clear sky with heavy gusts to blow the clouds aside for sunshine to shine. My orchestra is the flocks of birds, the twitterings, My steps are constant and endless. What else do you want from me? How do you not understand me? How do you not understand me? My light is so bright, it's blinding for those that aren't ready for it, that don't have protection for it, that aren't prepared for it. The thing I get much is mockery, but it's just Freudian projection. So I am not concerned or worried about that. I don't even know how there's still fall leaves around. That just shows you that man doesn't know how to clean up. Aren't I not a mystic? A mystic is ever so, pure, white, holy, sacrosanct. I'm much darker than that. Like a Joker. I like the Riddler. A jester. A taunter. I switch up gears. Here. I have different speeds, different outfits, different looks, different feelings, different sentiments, different modes, different approaches. I know how to play offense and defense. I know how to mix offense together with defense. I know how to go fast. I know how to go steady. I know how to go slow. I know how to go smooth. I know how to go hard. I know how to attack. I know how to protect. Alone do I go. I can read people. I can read people's minds well in my dreams. This is my dream. I cannot have friends. I cannot let that influence happen, occur, be there, be near, of what is not mine, what is not myself. It would just be foolhardy imitation for anyone to try to be like me or come to my level, raise up to my level. I'm soaring, I'm climbing like the ram that I am. You have to be strong and prepared and ambitious and vicious to get to this level, to raise up your level. Man has this wrong idea of ambition. It's after temporal, futile, temporary shit. It doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. Get what you need of that shit to survive, and then pursue everything else that's opposite of those traits. They try to adore me. They try to honor me. Poof. Psst. You can't make an idol out of a god. You can't make a fucking idol out of a god. You need to find your own path. You need to find your own way, which would probably very much so diverge from where I am going, with where I've been, with who I am. Right? You need to first develop the ability to emit and project strong energy, strong air, sovereignty. I am immortal. I am immortal. I am immortal. I am immoral, more so than the nihilistic immoralists. that surround and surround and surround me, but they can't pounce because I'll pounce first. That would be the invitation to their hers. I am immoral, I am immoral, I am the immoralist. I create my own moral values for the first time. For the first time. Step 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.